If you're stumbling upon this video, make sure to go check out my overview video for my upgraded weekly budget tracker because that's where you want to be. This is specifically if you bought the pre-built template, so let me show you how to set it up. So we're going to click Make a Copy. And now you have an editable copy that's only for you. We're going to go over here to Bills, and you're going to replace the bill name. Go ahead and start with whatever weekly recurring purchases you have. And you can label it however you want. It doesn't have to be what I have pre-built here. Replace any of your bills, utilities, as well as all of the different due dates. And the due date is the day of the month that it's actually due. So if it's due on January 15th, you'll put the 15th. Categorize it by subscription, credit cards, whatever you want to do. If you have any one-time expenses that you want to account for, leave those blank, but go ahead and add those for the drop-down. You can expand right here where it says D, and then make sure that it says properly if this specific bill is considered discretionary in groceries, if it's considered just discretionary meaning it's not necessarily a need, it's just a want, and if it's a subscription. And this right here is what's going to power your spend calendar. So if you don't have that accurate, this will not be accurate. Change the amount due, and this is the amount due per week, or if it's a one-time expense, just list the amount. It will automatically calculate how much the monthly total is. List any of your income sources. So if you don't have 6 income sources, no big deal, just delete what you don't have. And then put your pay frequency. So if you get paid twice a month, go ahead and put it in week 1 and week 3. If you get paid bi-weekly, you can put it in just week 1 or week 1 and week 3 if it's different pays. And then just make sure that when you update your projected weekly budget tracker, you put the correct week to point for that specific income source. If you get paid every single week, go ahead and do every single week, including week 5. If you get one-off paychecks, go ahead and put it in whatever week it normally happens. If your income is variable, I recommend putting the least amount that you get paid. That way you can always increase it, and you have a bigger buffer in your budget, but you can make sure that you always have enough money. The total will automatically populate, as well as all this information based off of what you put here and what you put here. Down here in the credit cards, go ahead and put your credit limit, as well as your remaining balance and the close date. Note that the close date is different than the due date. The due date's when it's due. A few days after that is when you have the close date. So make sure you check your statement so you know what the close date is. Where it says amount due this month, you're going to manually put what your current payment is due. And then for the calculation for the amount due next month, it depends on what your situation is. So if you have no credit card debt, you're simply going to leave this as is. It should say J4, it should have this calculation up here, and that's calculating what the credit limit is minus the remaining balance minus the amount due this month to give you what's due next month. If you do have a balance, or if it's a specific type of card where, like the Apple card, you have a monthly payment plus whatever you spend on it, you're going to simply copy the cells that look like this, and this will give you the calculation that you need. So what that's going to do is it's going to look up how much you owe in this bill tracker right here, and then add that to however much you spent since the current open date. Now, if that's the case, you don't necessarily need any of these remaining balances. It will automatically calculate that. One thing to note as well is if you use your credit card or that specific method of payment between the due date and the close date, there may be some transactions that are posted before the close date, but they're settled after the close date. So this may be a little off by a couple of transactions if they're right around there. But you can either go ahead and make the adjustments manually inside of your expense tracker, but it should be more than what you actually have to owe. So you could just let it ride until you have the full amount and then adjust it, obviously. That's what I do. It's usually not too much more for these specific cards, but if you're putting massive amounts on there, you may want to reevaluate that. You don't need to put anything next to debit or credit. That one's all good. Under monthly budget, put the start date that you want to start with. Let's say you want to start with budgeting on January of 2025. The number that you have right here will be populated based off of that. And then once you put the budget in, so let's say you have a budget of $6,000, it will populate the next one. So then you can keep going as far as you want. The spend calendar will automatically populate. You don't need to do anything with that. This is just toggling between the different options to see how much you spent for different categories. The worksheet should be hidden. If it's not, you can just go ahead and hide it. You don't need that. And then the expense tracker, whenever you're logging it, you will simply put the date of the transaction, what the type is, the category, and you can go ahead and make all these different colors by clicking on the icon and selecting the color scheme. The reason why I didn't do that yet is because once you change the option, it will clear the color. So this is something that you need to set up if you want to have color to it. So you'll select the different category, and then you'll select the payment type. And once again, you can add color to these. I didn't do it since you're changing the options. It will always be a positive number unless it is a credit. If it's a credit and a positive number, it will flag as red. You just need to change that to a negative, and then it will look good. The location will be where the location happened. So if you went to Whole Foods, you can put Whole Foods. And then notice anything that you want to remind yourself later on. Right here is a flow through. So this comes from that bill pay that you already set up. You don't need to do anything there. And then this is the most tedious part, but it's really not that hard. All you have to do is go through your bills and add them underneath the correlated area. So if we have bill 1, we have rent, and that will go ahead and populate all the different amounts that are correlated with that week. Now this automatically is set up to pull based off of the week that is correlated with here. If you are buying this in the future, I recommend either just going ahead and deleting everything that's before the date that you start, or if you want to update them, you have to start from right here. Update it, just make sure that the week number that's correlated with the income is aligned with the week that you're getting paid. And I recommend if the first of the month is falling the Wednesday or later in the week, then go ahead and put your rent and your payments, all that kind of stuff in the following week. If it's Wednesday or before, you can put that in this week just to make sure you have enough money for when all your bills are due. It's entirely up to you how you want to do this. This is your spreadsheet. If you're getting paid bi-weekly, as I mentioned, it's a little bit different because you have that 5th week coming in there. Sometimes your payment falls on the 2nd week, not the 1st week. Go ahead and just update the week to be whatever week you want to be. So if you want to have it where you have week 1 for your payment week and then you have week 2 for your non-payment week, then you can simply just copy, paste that again, and it will work out well for you. That way you can just have the same thing over and over again. On your income tab, however, make sure you have it listed twice, otherwise the total income is not going to be correct. Even if you don't use it, that's best practice. So you're going to go through and add the different bills for each correlated week throughout the entire time. I usually recommend going through the end of the year. That way you have all of your dashboards that work. This is all based off of a 12-month period. So anything after a year, you're not really going to see until the month rolls over. But that's the best practice for me, so you can go ahead and add that. That's really it. So now your spreadsheet is all set up. I'm going to make a video on exactly how to use the spreadsheet and how to update it each week. So make sure to check out that video and like and comment for more.